Good evening, or almost evening. Is it evening yet?
Yes.
All right, then I can go with that. Good evening, my fellow Michiganders. Good evening, my fellow Americans, right? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Garrett Soldano, and I was one of the people who fell asleep on the watch over 4 years ago. Before that, I always voted straight ticket. I was the guy that would go to work, do my job, come home, feed my family. All was great. I was living this little idea called America, and life was great until what? April 9th, 2020. For those of you who've been following me over the past 4 years, you know what happened next. We were waiting for someone to stand up to represent us, right? We were waiting for an elected official, someone to stand up and represent us to what we were all feeling. Because a lot of us at that time felt alone, didn't we? We thought we were the only ones. As society started to lock down, as society went and hid, we were wondering, like, what the heck's going on? And so I started that Facebook group, Michiganders Against Excessive Quarantine, went on there and made a little 5-minute hissy fit video. And I went home that night to my wife, and she said, "What the heck did you do today?" I was like, "Well, I started a Facebook group." And she's like, "Why?" I said, "Because I had to get something off my chest." And that night it was 500 people, and I looked at my wife and I said, "Holy cow, there's 500 people that feel just like I do." Next morning, you guys know the story. It grew to 100,000. The next night, 200,000. The next night, 300,000. I looked at my wife and I said, "What the hell did I do?" There's a lot of people, a lot of engagement, a lot of frustration, a lot of anger. So what did we do? We compiled that into a vision. Who here signed the Unlock Michigan petition? Raise your hand. How good did that feel?
Awesome.
539,000 signatures in 80 days, the power of the people, one of the fastest citizens petitions to ever be done. And you all taught me at that moment the power of the people. When you give these folks a vision, when you give them a goal, magic happens. And we were able to get that 1945 law off the books. As we started to expand this movement, we went into our run for governor. Obviously, we lost, but we awakened hundreds of thousands of people who are involved now. And now this grassroots army is reaching countrywide. We're helping school boards. Holy cow. If you would have went to me 10 years ago and say, "Garrett, did you know there's going to be boys and girls locker rooms and restrooms?" I would be like, "No way." "Garrett, did you know that women are going to compete in men's sports?" I'd be like, "No, it's not. Title IX is supposed to protect women." But here we are. We're all living in this little nightmare that the Democrats call what? Progress. So who here is sick and tired of the Democrats' lies? Say aye.
Aye.
Who here is sick and tired of the corporate media running with the lies? Say aye.
Aye.
And who here is sick and tired of the social media little minions gushing over the lie and running with it? Say aye.
Aye.
So we're all sitting here today on a beautiful Saturday afternoon to be inspired, to be motivated, but most importantly, what people are saying, what I keep hearing today, and I love it, is to get activated. You are that powerful. You have to understand in your heart, in your soul, that you can make a difference. The power of one can lead to the power of many. The reason that you're here today is because you refuse to go silently into the night. You refuse to vanish without a fight. You're in this thing. Hook, line, and sinker, and guess what? God has put every single one of you in this moment for this exact time. So embrace it. Embrace it. Because our country, we all feel that we are literally one election cycle away from losing her, aren't we? Holy cow, look what these Democrats have done to our country in 4 years. It is literally a dumpster fire. And you know me, I'm going to be the half-class fool guy, right? Because thank goodness they didn't go moderate. They went even farther left with everything that they're trying to do. This is no longer the old school Democrats of the world. You know why? President Trump used to be a Democrat. RFK Jr. used to be a Democrat. Tulsi Gabbard used to be a Democrat. Democrats are fleeing their party because of what they have turned themselves into, a socialist Marxist movement. That's what they are. They try to run from it. They stay very quiet about it, but the writing is on the wall and we feel it. And that's why you have to stay activated. That's why you have to get involved. The Trump Force 47 is a great opportunity for you to get involved and make a difference. So let's talk about the state of Michigan real quick. In 2016, President Trump won this state by 10,704 votes. That was it. So let's break that down in 83 counties. That means 83 counties, 20 people out of each of those counties go and talks to 7 other people and sway them to vote to President Trump. He wins this state back in 2016. And you just heard the congressman and the state rep talk about the hundreds of thousands, not tens of thousands, the hundreds of thousands of Republicans that stayed home, that did not vote. And why didn't they vote? Well, maybe it was COVID. Maybe it was their job. Maybe it was because they thought their vote wasn't going to count, because everybody always screams from the rooftops that the election's going to be stolen. That's why I don't talk about that garbage. The only way we change the election is how? Vote. And when we vote, we win. And we win not at just President Trump, not just Senator Mike Rogers, our future senator, by the way, but up and down the ticket, all the way down to the local levels, all the way down to your neighborhood book club. That's how important this is. We just had somebody in Iron Mountain that won her seat on the executive board of the library. Do you think that matters? Absolutely 100%. Because right now we're exposing all the pornography that's in these libraries that are allowing elementary school kids, their malleable minds, to read, which is hot garbage. And they say, well, they're banning books, they're book burners. No, we just don't want porn in our schools, right? And then they try to run with the Democrats, say we're book banners and we're homophobe and we're transphobe. I'm like, no, if I had a daughter, I would not want her to go into a locker room when there was a biological boy there. That's wrong. You don't get to change people's rights for a very small minority of the population that's going to have a negative impact on the whole. You can't do that. It's against their constitutional rights and their freedoms. And I will stand up against that hot garbage, and I will take the hate. I do not care, because I know in my heart and soul, you know in your heart and soul, that it is wrong what's happening in our school systems and in our society. And that's why it's so important that you're here today in the fight with all of us, because it's going to take all of us. It's not your elected candidates. It's your butts in these seats right here. It's the conversations that you're going to have in your community, with your loved ones, with your friends, with your neighbors. Because you never know what small act that you may say or do that may literally change the lives of millions tomorrow. You are all that powerful. Don't ever forget that.